Nope, it's on.
Is it on?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Are you letting people in? Lonnie. Jennifer. Wait a minute. Let Jennifer in first.
I did.
Sorry, guys, I lost track of time doing yard work. Hello?
We have you, Lonnie, Sarah, Jennifer Boardman, and one guest.
No
We do
quorum.
not have a quorum.
Not
Not
yet.
yet.
Mike Baker did say that he was gonna call in as well.
Okay.
I don't know about Mark.
I'm here on the phone as well.
Yes, we we saw you jump in there too.
Can't be trusted.
Mike's almost there. Mark just joined.
That's a quorum, yeah?
Yes. Oh, here's Kat too.
Oh, okay. She coming online or walking in? Oh, there she is. Okay.
The whole meeting.
Hi there.
Hi,
Hi,
Kat.
Kat.
Ooh, I like Kat's background.
Outer space.
There's Mike.
And there's
Okay.
Mike.
Perfect. Well, he's getting signed in. We do have a quorum. It's 5:33. Let's go ahead and start the meeting with the roll call.
Cat Stone,
Lonnie Rainville,
Sarah Thompson,
Mike Baker.
And we can see Mark is on there and John Parker's here. All right. Let me find my flag over here real quick. And Cheryl, you're there in person. Would you mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Not at all. We pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, visible.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So I believe we go right into public comment. And I can't see hands being raised or anything, so I'll rely on.
I don't see anything.
Okay. The only item we have is the RFP. And I didn't get a response from our attorney over the last 2 weeks. So Cheryl, I hope that you have some information on this.
No, I was not included in the conversation and I have no information on the RFP at all.
John,
Yes,
I just think we should form a committee who can shepherd this thing. And we can meet more than once a month. We can meet at least once a week.
I'm fine with doing that if you have two other people that like to do that. We got Mike, Mark, and Sarah on the meeting right now.
Well, I think we need to establish a timeline. I mean, I think, how long is the RFP going to be out there? I think that's one thing. And then you have to have time to review the responses. So maybe that's what a committee does, is help review those responses, maybe even provide a tentative ranking of the different firms to the board. So that could be something which doesn't actually require additional meetings, just well, it may require a special meeting, but not once a week. And then from there, we'd have to enter into a contract, which could take a little bit of time to negotiate.
And that's why I'm recommending that we get a committee together, because we're going down the funnel.
Well, again, I think just defining what it is the committee does, not just having an open-ended committee for the search, but I think it would be appropriate to have a committee to review the proposals and to score the proposals and come back to the full board with a recommendation in terms of the rankings, and then we could have those discussions. And
So
then
is that really normal, Mike? Is that
yes.
really normal to put restrictions on what the committee is going to discuss?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
You typically, when you go out for an RFP, you receive proposals, and those proposals have to, and procurement law have to be scored.
Okay,
And there's certain procedures and things that you have to follow when you do that. And then those need to come back to so you could score them and rank them, but then it needs to come back to the full board for approval in terms of, do we agree with the ranking, and then start working with the most qualified. And again, these are qualifications, not based on dollar amount. You'll then negotiate the dollar amount along with an actual scope of work that'll happen with those. And if you're not happy, you can always go to the next one down. But that's typically how it works for professional services.
well, then I'd like to make a motion that we form a committee.
I'll second that, because I think we do have to have one to review the proposals and score them.
There's a motion on the table for forming a committee to search for, what are they called?
It's basically a contract review committee, a procurement committee.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor for committee for contract reviews for the procurement
for this
process.
search.
And
Yeah.
And second by Mike. Any discussion?
I just want to make sure this is not a permanent standing committee, but this is one for the city manager search.
So for the
Or the city
discussion,
manager, sorry, general
General
manager.
Manager. So for discussion, the timeline we should have is probably a 30-day period, review period for looking at the potential recruitment companies.
Yeah, I mean, it probably just take it just depends how many you get, but it could just be a couple weeks to score the application, to score the proposals.
So I think if we did 3 weeks or 30 days, that's going to give us the full month until our next meeting, which then the committee could bring it back and we don't have to have a special meeting.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, somebody has to write the RFP, don't they?
Ron, I think, is doing that.
Well, he hasn't gotten back to John.
Yeah, but he'll be the one putting it together because there are certain things you got to make sure that you hit.
Well, I thought we would hear something from him before that, before this meeting.
Yeah, it's not easy to just put together an RFP. They do take a little bit of time.
And that's another reason that I want us to have a committee to make sure this thing moves along, that it doesn't just sit and languish somewhere.
Right.
So we've got the motion, we've got a second. Is there any more discussion?
There's one thing that I can add to the discussion. During the site review that we went through this last week with ODOT and RLS and Associates, one of the findings about procurement, and the recommendation was that the board needs training on procurement in order to actually be able to appropriately navigate the process.
So I
Yes.
did get your email, Cheryl, and I did ask Ron for a response. That's why I did ask you before the meeting started if you heard anything from Ron. I didn't say it was for that specific email, but that's what I was wondering about. I have not heard from Ron since, our attorney, since the last meeting. So, so with that, I would recommend that, you know, the whoever decides they'd like to chair or appoint as chair for that committee should work, you know, through a few emails with our attorney to get the process going smoothly. With that, if there's no more discussion, let's call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. I think I heard 4 ayes.
Any
Any
opposed?
opposed? I hear no opposed, so I'm gonna guess it was unanimous. So, Mike or Kat, would either of you want to volunteer to chair?
I'd be willing to do it. I'm certified with the state.
Okay, so Kat, I get it. I'm guessing you're interested in it. Would Lonnie, Sarah, or Mark be interested? We can only have 3 members on a committee.
Well, I definitely want to learn.
So Mike and Sarah, I need just one more, or would like one more.
I can do it.
Sarah, okay, so Mike, Mark, dang it. Mike, Kat, and Sarah will be the committee.
Okay,
if you
so I have
guys-
permission to talk to Ron.
Yes, please do.
Okay, yep. Okay, do that.
Okay. As far as the procurement stuff goes, Cheryl, which, like I said, I got your email. I looked through it, both of those attachments. I was really hoping to hear back from our attorney, but I'm not a legal scholar, so I can't opine on it. So with that, unless there's something else from board members that's not on agenda, we can do an agenda build for the next meeting. Which I didn't look at the calendar. Does anybody have a calendar for the second Monday of May?
Well, are we gonna have one this month at all, or was there other regular business that needs to be taken care of from the district?
Well, I thought when we had our last meeting, we mentioned having this special meeting to and not having a double meeting. But yeah, if Cheryl or Christine have input on something that we need to meet for again, we can definitely either meet next week or a regular meeting or wait 2 weeks.
Jennifer Boardman has her hand up.
Okay,
It would definitely be worthwhile to have a meeting this month because Cheryl could give an overview of the findings from the compliance review. And there's quite a few items that have to be worked on right away and they'll need board approval. And so many of the items are due within 30 days of the review. And so as soon as the final report comes in, she has a preliminary report, but as soon as the final report comes in, you have 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and 120, several of the items. So it would be worthwhile for you as the board to hear what the findings were.
Jennifer, when do you think the final report will come in?
I know that Roy, who was one of the people that did the review, was working on it today. He said probably 30 days. So it'll come in probably next month. But basically the preliminary that he gave has all the findings in it.
So Cheryl, is it possible to have maybe you have some stuff done, but at least kind of have a list of those items that need to be done and maybe a timeline?
Absolutely. Working on it already.
Okay, so we can at least do that part.
Yeah,
Yes.
because those are a lot of deadlines.
okay.
Yeah, I'd be
so
interested in seeing it.
would that be something we want to have next week, or do you want to wait a couple of weeks so you can have some information also from the RFP potentially in 2 weeks?
So are you wanting to have a board meeting on it?
I'm asking for board consensus on if they want to have a meeting next week,
Well, I think it depends on what staff can put together.
or if we should wait 2 weeks so we can also have an update potentially on the RFP information.
I think the 2 weeks is appropriate. As long
Cheryl,
as
can you put
Jennifer
something together?
Cheryl, do you have
Turkey
it?
Something
segment.
together in 2 weeks? So, are you still there, Cheryl?
Yes.
Can you put something together and have it ready in 2 weeks, or
Yes.
more time, less time?
I could actually have it ready by next Monday.
Okay, so it sounds like either she can have it ready by next Monday, or we can wait 2 weeks and we can have an update also on the RFP situation.
I like the 2 week period if Jennifer Boardman thinks it's reasonable.
I would prefer 2 weeks as well if we can get an update on the RFP as well.
Yeah.
Did Jennifer
Does
chime
that
in
work,
there?
Cheryl?
I'm fine. You guys have to pick the timeline. I just was suggesting having an overview of this because it is an important item that needs to be discussed. So whenever you guys decide.
Cheryl, does 2 weeks work for you guys?
Yes.
Okay.
Works for me.
What day is that? 2 Mondays from now,
The 19th.
the 19th. Okay,
So we need to cancel next week's and reschedule it for.
and this will be just a rescheduling of the regular meeting. It won't be a special meeting.
Right.
So is there anything else anybody would like to have on the agenda for the 19th?
There will be quite a few things that will be on the agenda based on the site review. I should have a couple of policies ready for you guys to review prior to the meeting so that you could choose to adopt them at the meeting. So there will be a number of things on the agenda.
Okay. So we probably don't need to add to it unless something is pressing.
Correct.
Okay, well, unless anybody has anything to add, we can move to adjourn. Without objection, meeting adjourned.
All right, bye.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.